From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I'm taking one last look at my friends. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend.
We are dorking out. This is like a little special bonus episode. We are going to dork out about the Rise of Skywalker. I just saw it. Like, I literally just walked out of the theater and came home and put on my headphones. And Margo, what night did you see it?
I didn't see it at night. I saw it yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. That's what I meant. You saw it Friday morning. I saw it Saturday morning.
Yep.
And I'm sure we both have thoughts and feelings. So what did you think in general?
In general, I loved it. I know, I understand. When I watched it, I like, okay, this is why it's getting mixed reviews.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of movie in one movie.
Yeah.
There's a lot they're trying to resolve, a lot they're trying to work with there. But overall, I loved it. I cried 3 times.
Me too.
I got very emotional. And let me just like clear things up for you guys. Like, I'm an old person. I saw the original in a movie theater. So I'm alive for that. So this is 40 years of my life, basically, that we're talking about, or 42 years. So what can I tell you? I'm happy about the journey. I liked some movies more than others, but I liked The Last Jedi. I even like Solo. I don't know. I'm on board with these Disney versions. I've never seen Clone Wars, which apparently you have to see, which I never saw the animated one, but I saw the prequels and didn't like any of them.
Right.
I'm one of those people, but I super, super loved it. I thought it was a very fitting end, and I was surprised a few times. And there's a few things I wasn't all that jazzed about, but I know I'm going to watch it like a dozen times at least in the next year. Yeah.
I think you and I are falling kind of in the same way. I also really loved it. I also cried 3 times. I bet we cried at the same things.
I'm sure we did.
And there's parts of it that I was like, I could feel like they're walking back like some of the Last Jedi stuff that like a little bit like they maybe caved into like a toxic fandom stuff. But in general, I really liked the movie, and it kind of hit those beats that I wanted it to hit.
Yeah.
And needed it to hit. And like I said, I just came out of it, and I've been trying to like process my feelings in the car on the way home.
Right.
And I kind of landed on the thesis of Rise of Skywalker like gave me what I want from a Star Wars movie, but I wanted it to do more like Last Jedi did. I feel like Last Jedi gave me Star Wars movie and more.
Right.
And Skywalker just gives me Star Wars movie. And that's fine. I like Star Wars movies, so I'm perfectly entertained by it. I don't know if it's going to hold like kind of a special place in my heart like Last Jedi, but I don't know if I knew that about Last Jedi when I saw it.
No, and a lot of people complained about that one. I mean, I think some of the Star Wars movies, I'll be honest, you have to see them a couple of times.
Yeah.
You really kind of have to know. It's like one of those movies you have to know the emotional beats and what's happening. So then you can go back and focus on things. And I don't know. I got really wrapped up in it. Obviously, I love the Luke and Leia stuff.
Yeah.
I got very teary-eyed about every time they were on screen.
Yes.
We spoil, by the way.
Yeah,
we're spoiling.
I was just going to say, we should mention, we're going to be spoiling now. So if you don't want to know any more spoilers, you should turn off and come back later.
Yeah. So yeah, come back to it later. But I liked the hint to the original, to the first one, A New Hope. There were a few Easter eggs there. I liked the Kerry Russell played a character.
Oh, yeah.
She was great.
Yeah, she was great. I was excited to see her.
You didn't see her face. Yeah, you saw her beautiful eyes, but you didn't see her face. But she acts really well with her kick-ass body. And she and Oscar Isaac have a great chemistry. I super loved the C-3PO story. I was like totally into. That's the first time I got weepy.
Yeah.
When they shut him down. And I was like, I want to say one more to my friends, which is what you said at the top of the show. And I got, that was so sweet.
It's so funny. So there's there's the part where, so that part got me all like teary, like pretty much every time Carrie Fisher shows up. I'm like, it's Carrie Fisher. Like,
we live in a world without Carrie Fisher in it, and that's just sad.
And it's a less of a
always
world.
Always feels me sad. It is. I feel like that when I see a movie that has Madeline Kahn in it.
Yeah.
I have to remember, like, oh my God, she died at 52.
What a waste.
Like, what a waste. She should be around. Yeah.
So awful. When, like we said, spoilers, you guys. When Leia dies and R2-D2 is with her at her bedside, that made me sob. I'm in the theater by myself, by the way. I didn't see it with any of my friends or family or anything. I just went to like an early morning show, and these two rando dudes sitting next to me were probably like, this fucking chick. Because like the whole movie, I was like,
oh, fuck them.
I know.
No, so I sat with my friend Kelly, and she's a longtime nerd. She, by the way, didn't like Last Jedi and didn't like Solo. So we were kind of arguing about that back and forth. But anyway, it's Alamo Drafthouse in Brooklyn, so you have to be quiet. So there was no chit chat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people were just watching the movie and laughing when they're supposed to laugh and clap, and lots of clapping for different intros. Yes. Lando Calrissian was a big hit in my screening.
Yeah, it was
when he showed up.
So good to see him.
But there was a dude in our row, and he was so quiet. And then I'm just going to give a big spoiler, but it was with Kylo Ren and Rey at the very, very, very end, where they kiss for a second, just for a second.
Yeah.
And the guy literally went out, boo! Like, you fucking asshole. That's going to be in all of our brains.
What a dick.
You were silent the whole fucking time. You didn't say a word. You didn't check your phone. You didn't crack any dumb jokes. And then you had us yell boo. Like, so angry. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah. What did you think of that kiss?
I liked it, but I like them together.
I do too. I mean, they make it very obvious. They have a bond.
Chemistry.
They are connected. And it's felt very appropriate. And I actually really liked it. Like, I actually brought my hands up to my face like Stefan on SNL. I was like,
I don't know, because they've been fighting this whole time.
Yeah.
But they always have their minds are connected, and they can always see each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that made sense to me. And honest to God, if I had Adam Driver in my arms, I'd give it a go.
Yeah, right? I'd go for it.
You kidding me? Yeah.
I'd go for it if I had Daisy Ridley in my arms. Either one of them. I'll take it. I'm into it.
Me too. I'll be honest. Me too. I'm there.
So the other... let's talk about the stuff we love, and then I might mention a few things that I didn't love. So I loved all the Princess Leia stuff, or I'm sorry, General Leia. I loved all of it. It does feel it is a little off because they're using like old footage and like
and doubles.
Yeah, and like kind of like everyone's like acting around her or whatever, but I actually really still I just like seeing her so much, and she's such a great character, and it's such a loss. And I just think the movie would have been so much more if we had her. So, but I liked her stuff. I absolutely bawled at Chewie's reaction to her dying.
Chewie reacting, I think a lot of people in the theater, you could hear sniffling. I mean, Chewie in this movie, by the way, at one point he gets kidnapped.
Yes.
I freaked the fuck out of my seat. I was so upset.
I was very, very worried about original stars. Like,
yes, me too.
You know, you don't want anything bad to happen to C-3PO or R2-D2 or Chewie. Like, you know what's going to happen to Leia. Like, we're not dumb.
Right.
But and then Lando's in there, and I was like, oh my God, if anything happens to these people, I don't know if I can take it.
Yeah.
It's too much.
But when she dies, I mean, it was a big reaction in the audience, even though we knew that was going to have to be the storyline. But it was wonderful. I don't know, that I really liked. I liked. There's one scene that and I guess they picked it from. Is it Return of the Jedi, the third one from the original?
Yeah.
They had that footage of Leia and Luke.
Yeah.
And they kind of put them over two different bodies, like to show them training in the past. That was one scene, and it was done very well. It was digital effects done very, very well. But I loved that. What were we saying? Just what else we loved?
We're just listing things we loved. I liked the new characters. I liked Jana. Was that her name? the other stormtroop, like there's a whole like planet basically of people who defected.
Oh yeah.
And I think her name was Jana. Like I said, I don't have any notes really or anything.
No,
so.
I don't have the. I'm sorry, I don't have the IMDb page in front
but
of me.
I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
I liked. There was like a really. The movie's almost 2.5 hours long, and it just goes. There's no like nobody stops and like takes a breath or.
No.
Like, and unfortunately that means there's like kind of maybe some like character moments that like we don't get that I would have liked, but it's fine. But there is like a good scene with Finn and her, and they're realizing that they both like have defected from the First Order and talking about that. And then it kind of puts so much of the rest of the movie in this different light because they're talking about the First Order goes to planets and steals all the children and trains them to be stormtroopers, which they talked about in The Force Awakens. I don't remember. Did they talk about it in The Last Jedi? Because I don't remember it being a thing in The Last Jedi. But then
I can't remember. Sorry.
Yeah, and then in this one they talk about it again, and all everyone on that planet like defected or whatever. But then they go on this like thing where they're like running through a ship and they're just killing all these stormtroopers. And I'm like,
they're old friends.
Yeah. And I'm like, but they're all like people that have been kidnapped and brainwashed. It's like kind of fucked up, actually. It's kind of messed up. So maybe that's not a part I like, but I like the conversation that they have about it. I thought that it's one of the rare parts of the movie where people stop and like kind of have a conversation.
Okay, so the next time I see it, I'll have to think about that because I'm just so used to hating stormtroopers that it's okay for me when they get shot. But like you said, it's like I was saying at the top of the show, like it's like 8 movies packed in one movie. There's so many plots going on. I forgot where people were. I got lost in my timeline a little bit. They don't want to bore you. Like they're just trying to.
Right.
And they're sticking to stuff that versus like getting a casino in there, which is what they did with the Return, the Last Jedi. Yeah, I thought Rose could have been handled better because I liked her in Last Jedi, and I was pissed.
I liked Rose a lot too.
I read somewhere a statistic today, and someone was talking about toxic fandom, and it said that only 22% of the population has Twitter. And only 10% really uses it a lot, like frequently. And you can't just bow to these people because of that. And it's true.
I feel like that was the result of the toxic fandom. And that bums me out because I think Rose is a really great character. And actually, this is a good segue into something else that kind of bummed me out about the movie, which is The Last Jedi ended with the idea that anyone could be a Jedi. That you're not born into it. It's like they showed like the little boy like reaches for the broom and the broom comes to him and stuff like that.
Right.
I love that idea. The idea that you're not born into it. The Force belongs to everyone, kind of. And I feel like Rise of the Skywalker kind of goes back to the like, no, you're born into it idea because like we said, spoilers, it's revealed that Rey is related to Emperor Palpatine. And, and I was like, I wish that wasn't the thing. The
whole Palpatine stuff I didn't like. I'll be honest with you, I didn't like because it reminds me of the prequels, but the Sith. The Sith stuff I won't watch probably in the future, or I'll kind of fast forward through it.
Yeah.
Not my favorite part.
Yeah.
But that's a quibble. I mean, it wasn't, too bad. But also we needed that scene for them to sacrifice together.
Yes, we did. And I keep going back to this, though, I really wanted her to not be related to anyone. I really wanted it to be someone who wasn't born into it is the person who brings balance to the Force, basically, is what I want. But I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly. I really like the message of the movie where they talk about there's more of us than there is of them, and we all need to band together and fight together to win. and the idea that we need a leader to bring us together and like fight this fight. Like, I like that message. Like, it's very relevant to what's going on in the world right now. But the fact that like she is related to Palpatine, you know, like everyone in the Star Wars universe that's a Jedi, they're all like Skywalkers and Palpatines, and it just makes me think of our current political climate. And I was like, it's like the idea that the only person who could be president is like a Bush or a Clinton or a Kennedy or something. Like,
right. I understand.
Yeah, I want someone like outside of the Force family, I guess. So that part kind of bummed me out, but I did really like those scenes where her and Kylo Ren, who's that by then going by Ben, like are together, like fighting together against him, and he's an evil that we know and we understand. And I like the idea of tying the last movie to the first movie. You know, depending on, even no matter what movie you're watching, like you're watching Star Wars, you're watching Phantom Menace, whatever. Like, I like tying the beginning to the end. So I understand why he's there. I just kind of wish she wasn't related to him. That's all.
Right.
And I
don't know.
Yeah. But you were fine with it.
I was totally fine. I know. I was totally fine with it. I don't know. They're so good looking and charming and really good at their parts. I was like, I'm okay. Whatever. I'm so shallow.
No, you're not. And this cast, they have really great chemistry. Like,
yes,
there is like a real camaraderie there. Like, it is fun when Rey and Finn and Poe are all together.
Right.
I really like it when they're all together. I think that it does remind me of Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, and that kind of playful chemistry. They have that, and we do get them all together in this movie, which I don't think we really had in the other ones at all. So that's another thing I loved.
I liked they have some cameos from people from the other films, including one very great scene, I think, with Ben. And his father shows up, Han Solo.
I'm always so happy to see Harrison Ford.
Oh, I do too. I'm too. I'm just his weathered face just being there. It was perfect. And I love the fact where he says Dad and he doesn't know what to say and he just says, I know. I mean,
yeah.
I cavelled. I loved it.
Yeah. I love that stuff too. I love that part. I'm like, what else did I love? Because there's lots of parts. I love the little robot friend that BB-8 activates.
The BB-8's little friend.
Yes.
Yeah, the two of them were very cute together.
I thought that was really funny. I like the little robot seems to have like, I don't know, like he's just, no thank you. No, like the way he like interacts with other people, it's almost like he's on the spectrum. I know, maybe, and we've talked about this a lot on the show. My son is on the spectrum, so maybe I just see that in a lot of things that aren't there because it's always on my mind. But I was like, is that little robot on the spectrum? Because like, the way he interacts with people is very like matter of fact, like states the obvious. That reminds me a lot of my son, basically. So like the idea that when they like go to touch him and he's like, no, thank you. You know, every time that's Calvin. Every time you do something, you want this, Calvin? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. And just you know, when Rey's gone and he's like, she's gone. I miss her. Like it's just, and they're like, me too. He's very cute.
Oh, he's so cute.
And we get to see some Ewoks.
We saw some Ewoks. We saw one of Luke's friends who's a fighter in the first film.
Oh,
he's there. He's there that was, my friend freaked the fuck out when that happened.
Yeah, is it Wedge?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good to see.
That was really, I loved that. That was really fun to see. I loved when Chewie got the medal. Got Han Solo's medal.
It's one of those scenes.
Cried
too.
Again.
Yes. I'm like, damn you, Chewie.
I'm a sucker. I totally cried. There's a very quick scene where there's two women kissing.
Yes.
Which, you know, we weren't told about, and that sort of representation is happening there. I mean, it's a little bit, but hey, It's better than nothing.
I guess it's baby steps.
Yes, like everything. So it's sort of, I like the cast. I was totally absorbed in it. Like I said, I didn't like the Sith stuff as much because I just don't like the Sith stuff.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
But I just saw it yesterday, so I've had like only 24 hours to kind of chew on it.
Yeah,
I'm sure I'm gonna need to. I'll probably see it one more time in the theater, and then when it comes out on digital, I'll see. Let's be clear. I'll see the living shit out of it. I'm gonna watch this again and again. Yes.
Oh, for sure. I will absolutely. I know I'm going to see it another time at the theater, because I didn't go with my husband and he wants to see it, so we'll probably go see it together. And I'll go see it at the Alamo Draft House because I have to collect my pint glass. Like, I've collected the pint glass for every one of these movies, and if I don't go get my pint glass, then what the fuck am I even doing here? Like, I have to.
If you go during the day at brunch, they have a flatbread brunch. Oh, you can't have that maybe because it's got bacon and cheese. Never mind.
No, that's not for me. But David can eat it.
Yeah, it's delicious, I have to say.
By the way, I'm drinking a kombucha right now out of my Last Jedi pint glass, and I'm wearing my Star Wars Vans.
You are so cute.
I'm such a nerd. And yesterday I was wearing my Princess Leia shirt, and it says Rebel underneath. I was wearing it at work and stuff. Everyone's like, cool shirt. I'm like, I know.
I saw somebody in the audience. I had to go up to her because she had a Princess Leia shirt, Princess Leia, but she had the David Bowie paint on her face.
Oh, I've seen those.
And it said Rebel, Rebel underneath it. Yes. I went up to her like, that is a fantastic shirt. She's thank you.
It is.
Like, that is awesome. Yeah.
I also saw
I want that on a poster.
Did you see a lot of people in costume?
No, it was a 10 a.m. gathering, so not as much of that. I think they said like later in the day, especially the midnight people.
Oh yeah.
They get dressed up. This was much more subdued, but a good mix of people. And like I said, it was packed. It was a 10 a.m. showing. It was 10:10. There was a 10:40. Like it was like every hour there was another showing. Oh, yeah. So it was so many screens and so many showings. But I don't know. I super enjoyed it. I don't know. I it's been a part of my life since I can remember.
Yeah.
And
do we really think this is the end of the Skywalker saga?
No, I think that with especially with the success of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I think there could be a TV series. I think there could be a mini series or something that could be very, could it be about Rey's children or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel like they'll go back to this well for sure. They're saying they won't, but I kind of think they will. But I think they could do kind of what Marvel did. They could make a whole bunch of different kinds of Star Wars movies with different characters, and the movies could be different styles, and then they could bring them together for like an end game type thing. That would be amazing.
They were trying to do that, like trying to see how that would work with Rogue One and with Solo. And I don't think they did that well, or not for a Star Wars movie. They didn't do that well. But because I'd like to see a Rose film. I'd like to see, Oscar Isaac's picture. I mean, I'd like to see all of that, but I don't know if we're going to get that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like Solo that much, but I did really like Rogue One, and my husband actually complained. He's like, my chief complaint of that movie is I really like the characters, and there's not going to be more of them.
No, because they're done.
Yeah, he's like, they're one and done. Like, the ending made it very clear that we won't be seeing these characters again. And he's like, I really like them. That's a complaint. He's like, seems like a missed opportunity. And I'm like, valid
yeah
point. I like that one too.
I like that one too. Yeah, but I thought Solo was just fun. So Solo was just, it's a caper, as my friend Binksy likes to say.
Yeah,
it's a caper. It's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely like probably the lightest of all the Star Wars movies.
Oh yeah, by far.
And that's fine. Like, I'm glad the movie exists. I'm glad that they're telling different kinds of stories in Star Wars, so I'm cool with it. It just didn't work for me as much as the other ones, and that's okay.
Sure.
There was something else I was going to say, and now I can't remember. I guess it wasn't important.
Well, which places did you cry?
So I cried when C-3PO's losing his memories.
Yep.
I cried when Chewie got the medal.
Yep.
And I cried when Princess Leia died. Specifically, the idea of R2-D2 being by her bed.
Right.
Like, and then actually, I guess I cried 4 times because then we get the scene with Chewie finding out and he kind of collapses and I was like,
oh, he's wailing.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
I know.
I'm like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I'm going to start crying again.
Yeah.
That part was
really hard. Yeah. It was very emotional. I think that's, I don't know. I'm talking to somebody that's like, some people are half my age and they've always had this and digested it really quickly. And I don't know. I've always had time to kind of watch a movie and then think about it for a couple of years and watch a movie and think about it for a few years. So honestly, it's different for me.
Yeah. I feel like we could record this episode a year from now and I might have like a totally different opinion.
I think so. We've had that. That's happened with us before with movies that we don't often do that. We don't often cover movies that are in the movie theater that just launched because we tend to cover movies for the most part we've seen a few times before, if not at least once before. So you have more to say, but I don't know. But this is such a, I don't know. To me, it's one of the top 5 Star Wars movies.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm so glad you liked it so much. I'm sounding like I didn't like it. I really liked it, you guys. It's very entertaining, and like I said, it does hit like those things I needed it to hit, for sure. I just right now, like I love The Last Jedi so much.
Right.
But this is, I think, very good, and I think they're all really great in it. She's great. Yeah. What a discovery she is.
Daisy Ridley?
Yeah.
She's a superstar. I mean,
she is 100% a superstar.
She acts so much with just her face and her eyes, she's so expressive. She's so athletic. I love the thing where she does that split in the air like Wonder Woman.
Oh, I know. So cool.
That was so badass.
She's badass.
She totally is. And Adam Driver has a really tough part to play. He's great.
I think he's really great.
Yeah.
And their performances are so intertwined. Like it really depends. They really have to show that they have this connection. And I think you really feel that in that movie. And like, even like the choreography of the battles and stuff, like that's like the performances are really tight, like very connected. I was into it.
I loved there was one scene where they're in 2 different places and he doesn't have his laser with him. And she reaches behind her back.
Yeah.
And she's able to give it to him, using the Force.
That was
like
so awesome.
That was so great. I loved it. The lightsaber, excuse me. Yeah. It was just, all of it was just, I don't know. I don't really have that many complaints.
Yeah. You know what I loved about that scene too was right after that when he gets the lightsaber, there's this kind of thing that reminded me of Han Solo in Return of the Jedi when Han Solo they're going to blow up the station thing on Endor or whatever, and he kind of does that shrug as he goes in, and like Ben kind of does that, like he gets the lightsaber and he wields it and like all these guards are kind of like, oh shit, and he kind of does like a and I was like, oh, he's just like his dad. It's just like little stuff like that.
There's one scene where he lands on a rock and he just kind of goes, ow. I don't know, the whole place cracked up when he did that.
I totally laughed out loud at that. I was like, so rarely does a character acknowledge pain in this movie, in any of the movies, unless they're shot. Then they're like, ow, this burns or this hurts or whatever. And like he's all, ouch.
Yeah. It's just one of those little touches. I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Now Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver should make a romantic comedy together.
I would totally be into that.
I would watch the shit out of that. Actually, maybe they could do a spin-off with these characters and just do a romantic comedy like that. It'd be fine.
Go on a heist or something.
Yeah. They have to get another Sith dagger or something.
Yeah, something like that.
To find the thing. to find the other thing before the thing starts blowing up the planets again.
And just trade quips as they beat up bad guys. I'm into it.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Yep.
Well, I'm so glad we got to process. Thanks for listening to me figure out my feelings about this movie, Margo. You're a nice person.
No, I mean, I haven't had anybody to talk to about it because nobody I know has seen it yet. They're seeing it over the weekend.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I'm going to have my thoughts. I'm going to have to see this about a dozen times, and then I'll know exactly what I love and what I don't love about it.
Yeah.
But my overall, I mean, a 2.5-hour movie is hard for me anyway.
Yes.
I never felt like I had to leave. I was totally engaged the whole time. I didn't mind all the stuff happening in it. It just, I don't know. It was just like more Star Wars. Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I was totally into it.
I walked out feeling like I really like this. Like,
yeah,
I walked out of it really, really liking it. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. Sorry, everybody. I'm not ready to end the show yet. I have one more question. What do you think Finn wanted to tell Rey?
That he loves her.
That he loves her? You think so?
Yeah. Yeah. He wanted to hook up. Well, he doesn't want to hook up. Excuse me. He wants to make out with her, but I think he really loves her.
See, I was like, oh, is he going to tell her that like he loves Rose or something? But then there's no. He never tells her, and there's no scenes with him with Rose, so that never happened. No. What I'm saying is they need to make another. That's what. See, this is a loose thread. They need to make another movie.
Just so we figure out Rose.
Yeah. Yes, please.
For those of us that love Rose, yes.
I will watch that. The Rise of Rose.
I have to say, 9-year-old Margo, how I felt about Princess Leia, getting to be on her journey, now that I'm not 9 years old anymore. And all these years later, her and Luke and Han, the three of them especially, but also C-3PO and Chewie and R2-D2. It was really great to see them all together in one film.
Yes.
There's a part of my heart that's like, it's always going to be a part of my heart is Star Wars.
Yes.
And it scratched that itch for me, I guess, is what I'd say.
Me too. I think that's a really good way to put it. I agree. Okay. So this was super fun, Margo. Where can people find you on the internet?
Oh, you can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fitchick. That's for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm mostly active on Twitter and Instagram. And don't at me about your Rose hate. I don't want to hear it. Don't care.
Fact.
And my blog, fact. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And you can find me at The Sonia Show on Twitter and thesoniashow.com. And also don't at me with your Rose hate. You can fuck off with that shit forever. And you can find Dorking Out at dorkingoutshow.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter. And we do have a Facebook page, but I don't really go to it that much. But this was super fun. And thanks for listening.